We're back. Okay. Before we carry on, because we haven't got a lot of time, I think we've got like 13 minutes left. People, please do me a favor today. Now, when we're done here, I want you to please go and have a look at how to do a pie chart and how to draw. I mean, everyone knows a line diagram. A line graph, that's easy. But please go and have a look for a bar graph, a histogram, and a pie chart. Remember, a pie chart, all the parts in the pie chart are always going to equal 360. Okay, because that's the 360 degrees of a circle, and they're all pieces of a circle. Please make sure that you know how to calculate a pie. All right, do a pie chart. Then, the difference in a histogram and a bar graph is a bar graph's got the same space, the same size space, thanks Becky, the same size space between the bars, whereas a histogram, all the bars are touching. Please, people, you are going to be asked, either in paper 1 or paper 2, but just in case it's paper 1, to draw a bar graph or a histogram or a line graph, although I don't think a line graph's too easy, or a pie chart. Please just check that you know how to do it and how to do the calculations. Okay, please, 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 make sure you know it. All right, here we go. This is skin. So, what have you got? Here you've got, that's the skin surface. Okay, and this is going to be your, let's just give me some space here. This is your sweat, which is water and wastes. These are your blood vessels. Now look at the difference. You see, okay, hang on. This is your sweat gland. Okay, now they can give you complicated diagrams and they can give you easy ones like this. So that's your sweat gland. There's a sweat gland as well. There is the duct. Okay, why? Because sweat glands, remember, they are exocrine glands. Okay, and this is the surface. What am I missing? Oh, these are your blood vessels. Okay, and so are those. So those are your blood vessels. Now, these blood vessels are big, they're wide. And if they're wide, it means that they are dilated. Okay? And these are narrow, or blue. Narrow, which means that they are constricted. Okay? So, when we talk about blood vessels, we talk about vaso. So, we say they are vasodilated or vasoconstricted. Okay? Vaso means blood vessels. Right. We look at person A. Well, they're not sweating. Their blood vessels are narrow. So we've got vasoconstriction, and the blood vessels are now not right up against the skin, and there's no radiation coming and heat coming off the skin. Okay, so which means that person A is probably chillier or colder or in a cooler environment than person B, because look at person B. What's happening with person B? Those blood vessels are dilated, so we have vasodilation. Okay, so with this, the blood vessels being large, you're going to have heat radiating off. But you also have lots of blood supply to the sweat glands, which are now going to make your sweat. And as that sweat evaporates, it therefore cools the skin. And when it cools the skin, what happens? The blood vessels and the blood that's now close to the surface of the skin is also going to cool down. And that's how you remain cool. Okay, vasoconstriction, vasodilation. When it is hot, we vasodilate. We want to get blood to the sweat glands to make sweat. We want the sweat to evaporate. We want the heat to radiate off the skin. And if you have a pale skin, you'll see the person goes red. Okay, it's a bit harder to see with someone who has a darker skin because you can't really see, you can only see if they're burnt. You can't really see if they go pink because they don't go pink, but you'll see more blood vessels to the skin. Okay, so which person, A or B, is exercising? Well, it's clearly the person who is sweating. So it's going to be person B. Why? They're sweating. Okay, give 2 visible reasons to your answer. Blood vessels okay, let's do it properly. I just want to get let's zip this. Let's get a color that you can see. So for 2 visible reasons, we're going to say vasodilation. So the blood vessels are dilated, and sweat production. Or you can say sweat is produced, or there is sweat on the skin, as long as you say sweat is being released by the sweat gland. Okay, name one hormone that would have the same effect on the blood vessels that are observed in A. So when would we have narrow, constricted blood vessels? Think about it. So when someone gets a big fright, okay, when they get a big fright, their skin goes pale. They go pale. I've seen people that go gray when they've had a really big fright. All right. Why? Think about this. You want to channel the blood to the muscles and to the heart and to the lungs because the main objective of the body is to get glucose, blood sugar, oxygen to the muscles so the muscles can work so you can fight and flight because adrenaline's being released. Okay, you need to get out of there. You do not need a blood supply to your digestive system. That is why when people get a really big fright, they will vomit. Because it's that shock as the blood vessels pull away or constrict around the digestive system, and that quick contraction causes other reactions, and that's what makes you get nauseous and want to vomit. All right, so when the blood vessels, due to adrenaline, constrict to the skin, which is your largest organ, you don't need a lovely skin. If you need to get out of trouble and you need to run away, you need to get the blood to your muscles. You need to get it to your heart so it can pump everything around. You need to get it to your lungs so you can get oxygen. Okay? And then you've got your thyroxine. Your thyroid-stimulating hormone will release thyroxine so that your cell metabolism increases. You're going to get glucagon being released by the pancreas. Why? Because you've got to increase your blood sugar levels. So all of these things happen at the same time. So same effect. What hormone would it be? It would be adrenaline, your fight and flight hormone, your get out of trouble hormone. Okay. After 10 minutes, the skin temperature, so it's after 10 minutes, the skin temperature of each person was measured. The results are as follows. Now remember, A is not exercising, and B is exercising. So they're getting nice and hot, and they've got this whole thermoregulation process going on here. Okay, thermoregulation. So what happens now? We see that person A has got 37.2, but person B, who was exercising, is sitting at 36.6. Why did the skin temperature of A, why was that higher after 10 minutes? Because of thermoregulation. The capillaries radiated heat or heat was radiated from the vasodilated capillaries on the surface of the skin, and the sweat glands received more more blood, so they could produce more sweat, which evaporated to cool the skin down. So the person who was exercising ended up cooling their body down more than the person who was not exercising, because this is actually a normal. This is normal body temperature. Now remember that when we talk about hypothermic, look at the words. And this is also, just in case they throw you a curveball, hypothermic versus hyperthermic. Okay. You see the O for hypothermic means temperature. Hypo, you see the O for hypothermic? Think of O for so cold. So when someone becomes hypothermic, they are very cold. The body temperature is very low. So what the body then does is it starts to make the person tired or sleepy, and that is one of the biggest issues with people that become hypothermic. In like, I don't know, if you get stranded in some snow place, okay, like Alaska, hypothermia is a problem, because as you get colder and colder, you just get sleepier and sleepier, because what the body does is it wants you to sleep, and it starts to shut down all the extra things so that it can keep your core temperature warm, and it can also keep the core part of your body alive. So your heart, your lungs, your brain. Okay, so hypothermic. Hyperthermic is when you are, it's high. So your temperature is high. Thermic, temp. So hyperthermic, high. Think of the hypermarket or the hyperama or the hyper, okay, is lots. So hyperthermic, your body temperature is very high. And if your body temperature is very high, well, that causes issues as well, because all your hormones, your antibodies, your enzymes, they are all made of what? Proteins. And if the proteins become, if the temperature is too high, or, okay, if the temperature is too high, or the pH is too high or too low, it denatures proteins. When the temperature is too low, it deactivates the proteins. Okay, people, please make sure you go over how to do a pie chart, how to do a bar graph, and how to do a histogram, what the differences are. That's number one. Number two, please check the Mindset TV Facebook page. I posted photos of little summary bits that you need to know, which will help you for your exams tomorrow. Just go through it. It's stuff that we've gone through over and over and over here. Make sure you know balance and equilibrium. So the functioning of the cristae and the ampulla and the cristae and all the structures. Okay, the macula. Make sure you know path of sound, path of sight, pupillary functioning, accommodation. You can't get these things. They have to ask it to you. And please look at hormones, okay? And also your reproduction hormones. So people, please just focus. Have a good breakfast. Don't go to bed too late. And I want to know after your exam how you've done. So post on that Facebook website. I want to know on Mindset TV Facebook. I want to know how your exam went. I'm going to be thinking of you, and everyone here is holding thumbs for you, and we've worked hard together this year. You deserve to get 90%. And even if you make a couple of mistakes, it should be 80%. I know we're there, and I will see you all on Sunday afternoon, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. We've got 2 hours to work through that prep for your final life sciences paper for this year and probably the rest of your life. So there you go. I'll see you on Sunday, sharp and bright as a button at 5 o'clock. I want to know how your exam went. I'm holding thumbs. I know you're going to be amazing. Mwah!